It's Richard from Richard's Guitars, and I'm not quite sure where this video is going to go or whether I'll even post it. But when I set up the channel, I wanted it to be about behind the scenes. Actually, it says behind the scenes, as you obviously the intro is behind the scenes of Richard's Guitars. And the reason I did that was because I didn't want it to be a glitzy, glamorous sales pitch, QVC sales, fake advertorial. I wanted it to be an insight into running the business, an insight into products that I love, and also an insight into the kind of issues that you deal with, anyone deals with, personally, emotionally, so all aspects of my work. So this is more like an update really on a situation that's been unfolding behind the scenes, which will give a very good indication of the kind of, some of the crappy side of what I do. So it's the general gist of it is about G&L Guitars. So G&L Guitars is a product that I've done for 22 years. So I promoted them for 22 years. And when I was in what I describe more mainstream retail, G&L was one of the many sort of strands of frustration and depression I had in selling Fender guitars. There was never anything wrong with the Fender guitar, excuse me, and I actually never had an issue with the product itself, which might sound really crazy. So why was I not selling them, or why did I get depressed selling them? And the reason I got depressed selling them was because you'd have literally a little man in a suit. Not that I've got anything against little men, but quite often the stereotype unfortunately fitted with this guy. Little man in a suit with a big attitude, telling me what I'm going to be excited about this month, with his little folder, and out would come the folder, and then there would be 1,000,001 new variations on a theme, in colours that I would be, challenged at best to get excited about. And that would be it. That's what you're selling now, and that's what you must sell. I had more arguments with the director of Fender over the image of my shop, ways in which they wanted to represent the product, my wording of the products that I would sell on my website. Why was I saying this about this product and that about another? Why did you say that one's not worth buying? Having an opinion and a voice and a view in retail is basically not allowed. That is why you see copied and paste descriptions that come straight out of the manufacturer's website. If you look at 20 different websites, they'll all say pretty much the same thing. But apart from not these days, because the savvy, well-versed, big online stores realize that's not very good for search engine optimization. So you will have companies that will edit the words, change them around, jumble them up to make it look like they've given a unique view, a unique voice on the product, when in fact they haven't. It's just a company has done it to improve their search engine optimization. So you got people copying and pasting content, or people just messing around with the content to make it look better. But in essence, you don't tell the truth. You don't say what you really think about a product, and if you do, you get your hands slapped. So that's why I got fed up with Fender guitars, and that's why it was a very depressing environment selling them. For what it's worth, I could bore you to death with little things like, oh goodness me, I'm not going to go into it because there are stories and stories and stories that I could unfold there around that Fender scenario. So G&L, G&L to me was an honest product. Okay, I've got one or two left, but it's an honest product, great price, well spec'd. Actually made in the Court factory, interestingly, which was another theme, another product that I've always recommended. So like many brands, I'm a Fender, I think all the standard Fender acoustics possibly are made by Court. So Court make guitars for G&L, Schecter, Ibanez, Music Man, the list goes on and on and on. They're the largest manufacturer of guitars in the world, but shops don't like to tell you that because they want to sell you the brand. But anyway, G&L is also one of the products that is made in the Court factory. The difference being is that the parts come from, in some cases, the parts come from America, so the pickups come from the American factory, from the American guitars, and put in the guitars. Not on all the models, but that's there's a theme like that. That quality is very, very good, or the parts are good. Quality is fine. We hand finish them, set them up, make them play beautifully, and so what you'll get from a G&L, pound for pound, is generally better than what you'll get from a Fender because you're not paying for the Fender name. So I've sold them for 22 years. In December of last year, I got to hear that the distribution was going to come to an end, and I was told that the new distributor would be announced in January. So all good, fine. January comes, no word, no mention of what's going on. So I start digging around and trying to find out what's going on. I contact the owners of G&L. I send emails, I send tweets, I go on their Facebook page, send them private messages, just trying to find who is responsible for selling me a G&L, because I've got inquiries. I'm telling people I can't help them until the new distributor gets set up. So I basically get absolutely no reply from anyone at all. It's a closed shop. In the end, I managed to get an email back from the director of BBE Sound, who are the people that own G&L, saying that, very brief message, new distributor will be sorted out soon, and then I've got to wait. Obviously, I knew that wasn't going to help me because I've got a lot of people waiting for stock, and I've got issues with guitars that need resolving. So, as any business, you need to have some kind of idea of what the direction is and when this situation is going to get sorted out. And I also knew that we've got problems in the industry right now with CITES, which is Rosewood. That's a different video, but CITES quite rightly have put rosewood as an endangered species. It's now a restricted. It's a restricted wood based on the fact it's endangered species. So there's a lot of regulation involved now with the movement of rosewood. Now, rosewood, Indonesia, which is where Court is based, I get the impression has not yet played ball, or things are not as smooth as they should be coming from Indonesia with the rosewood side of things. So that could have major impact on product coming from places like the Court factory. So that's an interesting thing to watch. On all products, all brands could be affected by that. But I don't get any of this information back from, obviously, this guy David, who's the director, I believe, of BBE. He just says, look, it's going to be sorted out in January. Fine. So I asked a few questions, didn't get a reply, but thought, well, fair enough. February comes in and goes. I'm emailing him, I'm asking what's going on, could you give me an update? Nothing. So I have a bit of a panic because I'm thinking, well, hang on, I've got inquiries every single day. I'd like to think I'm the largest dealer of tribute guitars in the UK. So you'd think you'd have someone listening and giving you a bit of assistance, helping you with what's going on. So I've contacted the German distributor. Lovely people, German distributor. If you need a G&L, I'd suggest speak to the German distributor. Very nice people. They also distribute Faith guitars, which is a product I love. So and they've treated me really, really well. So really nice guys said, yeah, we'll help you. We'll get you set up. Until the new distribution gets set up in place, we'll make sure you've got the stock, keep your customers happy, everything will be good. But we need to speak to the guys at G&L first to make sure it's okay. Fine. So my friend David, the director of BBE, puts a stop to that, says no, and he doesn't speak to me, he doesn't talk to me personally. He hasn't replied to, I've had 2 emails from this guy in the whole time I've been trying to find out since Christmas. So he puts a block on it and says, no, there will be a new distributor in place in the UK, so you can't send any stock. Obviously I try and find out from this guy, what does that mean, when's it going to happen, and I have no replies whatsoever. So I've got to the point now where I'm completely depressed. It's just the way certain things happen in life, that the way people treat you, when you'd never dream of treating people like that yourself. And I'm not putting myself in a position, I'm not trying to big myself up, but I know that, hang on, I've rung around the UK dealers finding out how they feel about the lack of stock. And nobody even cares. Can you ignore the phone? I'm not open yet. Nobody, literally not a single dealer cares, because I've got something else I can sell. I might do Fender guitars, or I do other things, and they just literally, it's just a product to them that's there amongst many, many other products. But to me, it's a product that I have championed for 22 years. It's a product that I've just put my heart and soul into. So to have a director of a company just not give a damn, to absolutely ignore every email, to treat you like basically what I describe as shit on his shoe. Why am I bothering? Why am I putting this energy in? So yeah, so that's how I'm feeling today. A bit crap. I've got obviously various people have cancelled orders. I've tried to keep people in the loop. It's really difficult because I'm dealing with go down problems because of CITES as well. So I have literally dozens and dozens of people who all are expecting updates on products that are basically either unavailable, you can't get hold of right now. It's very, very difficult to sort of, when you're one person, keeping everyone up to date, and when these kind of problems occur. So I think I've got about 12 G&L customers right now who still, they thought that I was getting the stock from the German distributor, but obviously now I've got to tell them that's not happening. And probably, I say up yours and I won't sell your product because you don't deserve the money, but we'll see what happens with the distributor, see what the new distributor is. I imagine it'll be months before you can get a G&L in the UK, months, because if they're dealing with that guy, he's not a guy I'd want to deal with. I get the impression that there's an issue with getting distribution agreed in the UK. I imagine it's probably heavily linked to CITES as much as anything, because getting stock out of Indonesia might be difficult right now. So yeah, G&L's up in the air. Don't think much is going to happen for a long time. Not that I've been told that. I've been told shortly it'll be sorted shortly, but I was told that in January. So don't bother listening to that one. Now, so that's a bit of behind the scenes, G&L in the UK. However, there is a really, really positive element now, going back to my other aspect of my life, sort of trying to be philosophical these days. Things do happen for a reason. One door closes, one opens. This is genuinely something that I feel very strongly about. It was my wife, Teresa, who helped me really focus on that in deep, dark times. It really is important not to be afraid of doors closing, because if you conduct yourself in a certain way and you have a certain attitude, and the good people do rise, and you become aware of them, and you surround yourself with good people. And so it all happens for a reason. Things happen naturally. And as I was getting depressed yesterday, this happened. And this is totally by chance, total chance. So it's a Tokai. So obviously you'd have seen these on my website for a little while, but it's again a product that is incredibly hard to get hold of. But these are Japanese Tokais. So look at the colour on that; it's beautiful. So these are really lovely Japanese Tokai strats. And I've got to tell you at the back that so it's really odd. That price point is more in line with my target price point. I have kind of a, because I'm one man, I have to sort of, I can't spend my days selling £200 guitars, because we put an enormous amount of work into every guitar. We hand finish every guitar, all the fret ends, nut slots, truss rod. If you've been on my website, you know what we do. And it's a genuine service, and it genuinely takes a long time, and we genuinely reject guitars that don't meet the quality control. And so I have to have a target price point, and it's around about £750. So I'd say on average my guitars I tend to sell are between £500 and £1,500. So it's worthwhile the energy and the effort that you put into what you're selling. And obviously within that price point you have to find guitars you actually give a damn about, which is really tough. Because there's so much average rubbishy stuff on the market. So I've been pushing these Tokais for ages, and I've had one or two, but nothing to even really build a brand, not to really try and raise awareness. But a very, very, very good friend of mine from the industry who supported me through tough times when I closed my old business down with depression, he used to be my court supplier, bizarrely. Small world. But he's now distributing Tokai. So there we go. So this might turn into something exciting, and I need to turn my negativity, I need to take my focus away from, as they say, if you've ever heard this story, the black spot on the page. Must not focus my energy onto the black spot on the page. There's all that white around the edge that needs looking at as well. My life is full of white page. But sometimes it's just difficult to pull your eyes away from the black spot. And interestingly, there's a black spot right there, where I'm looking right now. So that's it. So Tokai's good, G&L bad, probably won't see another one of those for many months. And that's my latest update behind the scenes, and I'll try and focus on the positives today and try and make a few people happy. See you later, bye.